Okay. Live on Twitch. Hi, Twitch. Hey, Twitch.
Hey, Twitch.
Hey, got your ears on.
Hey, got your ears on.
Everybody recording?
Yeah.
All right, let's do some clapping here. In 3, 2, 1. In 3, 2, 1. Ah, good. It does not seem like there's much of a delay, so
Good.
we'll see how we make out here.
Scoot, when's the last time you shaved? 8 a.m.?
Last week.
Is this intentional?
This is one of those, oh crap, I didn't shave. Let me get the neck. And so it turns into a beard.
It's starting to turn into a beard, I was going to say.
It just is like, let me get the neck real
Instant
quick. Because it's
beard.
faster.
Instant beard.
And that's really where it itches. It's not so much the face. It's the neck.
All right. All right, you guys ready to try and do this? Try to do
I
this?
think.
All right, let's go. All right, here we go. 17. All right, everybody. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Got Your Ears On. Guido here along with Scoot
Pull over.
and Johnson.
It feels like the early edition, Guido.
It is the early edition. We're recording a little early this week. We generally do Sunday evenings to do our show recording, but there's some sort of game on today, later on today.
Something.
Yeah, so
Something
We've never
big, I
seen-
heard.
I don't know.
We've never seen Johnson in this light. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's like daytime.
Do you like it? All this natural daylight?
It takes years off of his life. He looks like a young schoolboy.
He does look younger. He does look younger. So, but yeah, Super Bowl's tonight, so we're a little early today. And good luck to Keith Tandy. He's coaching tonight in the Super Bowl, former Mountaineer. So
Yeah.
for the Buccaneers. So that's awesome. But before we get started talking about basketball, guys, we need to talk about something we're doing that's just gotten amazing over the past 2 weeks, which is our Pullover Guy t-shirts. If you're watching on Twitch, you'll see Scoot's got one on. We're doing Pullover Guy shirts. Every shirt or sweatshirt that's ordered with the Pullover Guy logo, we're donating $5 to the Bob Huggins Fish Fry. It's awesome. So we've raised over $300 at this point, and we're still getting shirt orders every day. So if you get a chance, go to our website, gotyourearson.com, click the merch section, and you'll see the Pullover Guy shirts. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram. It's all there too. And we had actually somebody who sent an awesome idea out that we need to work on, guys, which is to get a Pullover Guy pullover, like very like. It's like kind of like Kramer's coffee table book.
Yeah, that's right. So it was, I think, Real Mark on Twitter. That's what he said. Very AKA Seinfeld. We need an actual pullover with Pullover Guy on it, and that feels apropos, just like the coffee table book.
So we've reached out to our supplier, and they are trying furiously to come up with an idea for us to get Pullover Guy pullovers. So we're hopefully, knock on wood, hopefully something is going to come together with that. But check it out if you haven't got a chance. $5 for any t-shirt or sweatshirt that says Pullover Guy on it. $5 gets donated to the Bob Huggins Fish Fry, which goes to the West Virginia Cancer Institute's, the Norma Ray Huggins stuff. So definitely get a chance, get on our website, gotyourearson.com, pick up a shirt now, especially since everybody should be in a good mood. We've won some games, guys. Basketball's winning again. Two in a row, Johnson, and I feel pretty good about it. I don't think Iowa State game, we won that 76-72. We didn't look great, but it was a win, and it was on the road. Iowa State's Iowa State's just slightly better than K-State, I would say, in a lot of ways. Okay, maybe a lot better than K-State, but just they're still at the bottom of what is the Big 12's dregs. But WVU didn't.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, in related news, neither Iowa State also did not look very good. Scoot. They were kind of. It felt hard. For a part of this game, I could not watch. I had some stuff going on at the house, and I was listening. And I think I texted you guys at one point, maybe early second half. I'm kind of glad I can't see this because it just sounded like ugly basketball, and it felt like we were just kind of, I don't know, like it felt like a game we should have put these guys away by 20, but they kept it close.
Well, I don't know. Iowa State, clearly there was no Hilton Magic trademark. I don't know if that's a thing or not, but
TM.
I think Hilton Magic is a joke. I think that's what announcers say when Iowa State lucks into a win. But I, Iowa State, I mean, they are a bunch of nondescript guys. And I think that for me, and maybe I'm the only one that feels this way, I actually, not that I disrespect them now, but I felt like when they had Fred Hoiberg as a coach, he had a little bit of that NBA mindset. He had more connections to the NBA. So I felt that they were getting higher level talent.
Yeah, I was going to say their talent level was just way better.
Especially through
like
the transfers.
And
he
had
had Niang,
that period of teams.
Abdul Nader. I mean, they've had some good players come through.
They don't look like that at all now.
No, like I guess Razir Bolton was probably their best player that they had.
Probably.
And I'll be honest, I know we've played him twice. I didn't know he existed until the other night. So I mean, that goes to show what kind of team they are. They don't have anybody of notable. I remember the Condit guy from years past, and he struggled mightily against DC. So I don't know. I don't feel that. I guess I know we looked bad at times, but I never felt like the game was in any real doubt.
Well, I think and I agree with you, Scoot. I think the only thing that showed for me again, which is similar to what we saw in Florida, in a couple other games, which is, defense is still becoming more and more of a struggle for this team. Now, granted, if they can score, it's not a problem. I think the problem is in the Iowa State game. I mean, Iowa State had 4 players in double digits. They had 3 players with 15 points, and that's Iowa State. And I think that, as long as we're scoring, it's not a problem. I think what becomes a problem when we're not scoring. I mean, again, Iowa State game, Miles McBride, Deuce McBride, didn't look horrible, but still had sort of an off game, only 9 points for him. I mean, Taz, who's on fire lately, had 18 in that game. And Derek's Derek. He has a double-double every game now. But
I just thought it felt low energy.
Yeah.
It felt like parts of that game we were just kind of going through the motions. I think when they asserted themselves, it was fine. And I think it was just surprising that it came down to pretty much that last possession, really. I mean, Gabe kind of makes a defensive stop to muck everything up. I think they were trying to maybe dribble drive something there, but it was, I don't know. I'm just glad that would have been like heading into this brutal 6-game stretch. That really, had we let that get away, it really would have felt terrible. So I'm glad. It's hard to win on the road. I mean, even we're saying Iowa State's not that good. I agree. I don't think they are, but it's just hard to win on the road. So I'm glad they went in. I'm glad they got the win, and then they could fully focus on this 6-game stretch.
Do you guys feel that their head coach kind of looks like Mark Cuban?
Prom, you mean? I could see that. Yeah.
That might be, and I don't know this, but that might be, I don't have any inside information, his only claim to fame after this season, because he may get fired.
Maybe. You're right.
Yeah, well, when you watch that, you have to think that Iowa State's fans have to be pretty impatient.
Like, where are they going? They're not going up. You can't say this team is trending up.
And they have some good
for a couple years,
and they've got good players. I mean, Razir Bolton's a good player. What is his name? Tyler Harris, good player.
Yeah, he's a freshman, I think.
Yeah,
isn't he? Or a young guy.
Yeah, he's young. Yeah,
they've got a good team. They should be winning more games than they are. But
yeah, I feel like it's probably, when we look at Kansas State, they're super young too, and so maybe in a conference like this, maybe we see them in Iowa State and Kansas State pay some dividends in a season or two, but right now they just look really overmatched against most teams in this conference.
Well, and I know that we've said that off air, we've said that Bruce Weber, maybe he's in jeopardy position wise because of the year that they're having. I would say we've got to say the same about Mark Cuban Light, that he may be in jeopardy. So we'll just have to see how it plays out, because you got to think what recruits out there in high school are looking at Iowa State right now and saying, that's the destination I want to go. what are they, 5 and something, 5
Right.
wins, something
Right.
like that. I mean, nobody's
Yep.
knocking down their door saying, now you're going to have some guys that are going to say, I can make them better. I can be a part of what makes them better. But I just don't know.
But West Virginia holds on to win that game. And I will say the one thing that did turn out good in the second half was finally free throw shooting felt really, really good in that second half. 10 for 12, 83%, finished the game with 70% free throw shooting. So that finally clicked in that game a little bit for them. I mean, 3-pointers have been right around where they've been all season in that, mid 30s range. And field goal percentage was a little low this game at 43, which again, that's where the problem is. If you're not going to play good defense, you need to be shooting the ball at 55%. You need to be like Gonzaga, because that's what Gonzaga does. Gonzaga doesn't miss shots, and they shoot every game at like 60%, from the field. And that's what West Virginia is going to have to do if they're going to go deep.
Johnson, if you were to take 10 foul shots, how many would you make?
Out of 10, I'm pretty confident I'd make 7, 8.
How about you, Guido?
Oh, I'm probably 50%. I'm probably 5, maybe 6.
I think I'm 7 or 8. We should sometime do
we should do that.
Got your ears on free throw contest.
Yeah, we could do that.
This is where Brent would chime in. Are we doing it cold? Like, are we getting a couple of practices in?
I think you just show up
and you shoot.
You show up and shoot.
Guido, in my case, I think we're always starting cold. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm definitely not coming in hot.
I want Brent in this competition.
I think Brent would probably smoke us. I have a feeling.
Well, I'm sure you do. I don't want Brent in this competition.
Right. I want to see the big man shoot from the line. Let's see what he's got.
There's no doubt in my mind Brent steps to the line and hits 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I would agree.
Cold? We think cold?
Yeah,
cold. I think he misses 2 maybe at tops.
Because he's probably a way more consistent. Like, it's been a while since I heaved up some foul shots.
It's been a while since I've touched a basketball.
I was in a free throw contest, I'm going to say 10 years ago.
All right.
And
so that qualifies you.
I went 9 for 10.
All right.
Which I was very pleased with. I lost because the guy that won went 10 for 10.
Wow.
Okay.
Which was a little frustrating.
I think standing with no crowd jeering at you, I think I could do pretty well. And I think Brent probably goes, almost perfect in that situation. So I think you'd have a run for your money, Scott.
I like to think that regardless, like small crowd, big crowd, I'm going to have people jeering at me. Like, I think you guys at the very least will be jeering at me.
Absolutely. I
at least we will be jeering at you.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to the game that actually I think felt awesome, which was Kansas. WVU just trounces Kansas 91-79. And even though at times that game was a lot closer, I think West Virginia really showed up. And again, this is another example of if they're hitting shots, I don't know if anybody can beat them. If West Virginia's hitting shots, nobody can beat them. And in that game against Kansas, Miles McBride had 31 points. Taz Sherman had 25 points. In an odd game, Derek Culver does not get his double-double. He's short by 1 rebound, only 9 rebounds, but 19 points. Is this team, if that team shows up and plays the next, what is it, Johnson, 5-6 games, like can they win all these games or at least win more than half of them?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Kansas fans would probably immediately tell you that they're not the normal Kansas team. I think they'd make that excuse. But regardless, I think, to me, that's why I said in the Iowa State game, it felt low energy. In this game, it felt anything but low energy. Guys are diving on the floor. I felt like the defense, even though they go for almost 80, I thought the defense was still pretty good. I thought that just at every position, it just felt like the energy level was way up. And I think, if you come out like that and you have that kind of energy, and to your point, regardless, if you're hitting shots to the tune of 91 points, I think you can make a go at any of these remaining 5 games.
Scoot, let me ask you a question about how you felt with the fact that Huggins noticeably changed his sort of rotations. And Jordan McCabe sat the bench a lot more. Deuce went back to the 1, and they didn't do that whole like Deuce playing the 2 and getting more shots. It really left Taz and McNeil more open, and Deuce back at the point still puts down 31 points, and Jordan only gets 5 minutes.
I'm gonna say, and I would guess, I haven't heard his exact reason for that, but my guess would be that he's probably going based off of matchups and probably looked at the game tape of the last time they played, and we got, if you recall, we got scorched from the scorched from the 3-point line. So I think maybe adding a little bit more length by having Jalen Bridges and Emmett Matthews in the lineup, I would say defensively that was why. I don't know that, but putting some more length on those shooters. And if you noticed, I think we would all agree that Kansas went like ridiculous last time we played from outside.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they went
Abaji, Christian, Brown. They both scored tremendously well.
Right
now,
don't you think, Scoot, though, too? Don't you think that refs let them play a bit more in this game? I mean, I don't feel like there were nearly as many fouls called as a normal Kansas WVU game, and I think, like, to Guido's question, I think you can leave some of those key guys out on the floor when you're not worried that they've got 3 fouls, maybe picking up their 4th.
Right, we didn't have foul trouble.
Yeah,
which was surprising because Frosted Tips Higgins was there.
Yeah. And he usually lays into us. So.
Yeah, I don't know. It was kind of unusual. He actually helped us with a weird random bench technical. I wasn't even really sure what happened there.
He did let that goaltending shot fall though, and that got Huggins cranked up at halftime. So
yeah, and I don't. It was weird. I was in a bad locale for watching, so I couldn't really hear a lot of the commentary. I know there was a lot of critique on the first 2 segments where it sounded like they were down the end of a hallway calling the game.
Yeah, it started. CBS started off where it was like they were Rafferty was like they had them like phone called in. It was like it sounded like a West Virginia high school football game. I mean, it was
really odd.
Tin can, and then it went back. Then they had the studio guys.
Yeah, they had like
that was awkward.
Halftime show. They were doing the commentary.
And then they were like talking all over each other, worse than the 3 of us do half the time. I mean, that was ridiculous.
It was really awkward because you could tell that nobody knew which one should do the play-by-play.
Right.
And occasionally you would hear Clark Kellogg chime in with some kind of analysis, which Clark Kellogg is a good analyst, so I would have probably been okay if he had been the analyst from the get-go. But Seth Davis isn't necessarily like a play-by-play guy, and so it was just kind of...
Well, I'm glad you said that because Clark Kellogg has these little sayings he likes to toss in. So, like, they'd ask him, like, Derek Culver would score and someone would be like, Clark, what do the Mountaineers want to do? And he'd be like, well, WVU wants to eat in. They want eat-in dining. They want to get the ball down to Derek Culver. Like, he would say stuff like that and just crack me up. Like, you can tell he's like, man, I'm kind of in the mix now. I got to lay it on thick.
He's looking for his like Bill Rafferty, his thing. Like that's gonna be his Jimmy or his Dickie V, like, yeah baby, he's looking for something like that.
But Scoot, I think when you have so Taz Sherman and Deuce, they go for 57 points, I think, for the game. I think Sherman had 25. Miles ended up with actually 31. He ended officially with 29, and then I think they credited a basket that they had given to Jalen Bridges to him. That's how he got to 31.
Exactly. Which tied the all-time high. What was it? 31 was done by Beetle Bolden a couple of years ago. That was the last time 30 plus had been done.
So let me ask you this question. Does that feel weird if you're him? Like partly, I know we're team players. Everyone's a team player. However, for your resume, it can be a pretty big deal. You want to be the guy that's, either scored the most points that, the team has had in a long time, or, maybe it's your career high. And in his mind, he probably knew he had more than what he was credited for, because a lot of guys kind of keep track of that.
Right.
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's not that way, but a lot of guys do kind of keep tabs on stuff. So is it anticlimactic that that's how he gets to 31? Was kind of like a weird scoring error? or do you think he?
Well, I don't think so. I mean, he actually scored the bucket. It's just it was marked.
Right.
I know what you're saying, but if it's me, like, no, man, I'm good with that. That's cool. That's good to me. I'm fine with that.
Well,
But I just was trying to bring that up because if looking at that box score, Taz and Deuce finished with one personal foul apiece. So I think just to build on what you were saying, I think if my two of my hot hands are rolling along, they're not in foul, then I feel like I'm at liberty. I mean, obviously Hugs knows what he's doing anyway, but I feel like as a observer, I'm way more at liberty to just roll with those guys, let them in. I don't feel as compelled to be rotating guys in and out. I feel like normally we're watching the personal foul line really closely.
Well, I feel like, and maybe you guys can chime in on this. I feel like Taz in the starting lineup feels better to me than McNeil in the starting lineup. And I understand why McNeil was in the starting lineup, because when he's on, he's pretty unstoppable as far as outside shooting goes. Like, how many times has he been fouled while shooting an outside three from, like, I don't know, 35 feet, and he still makes them?
Yeah.
Right.
But defensively, he is woeful defensively. And I think that maybe that has been not highlighted, more pronounced this year because of our defense being so rough, is that Taz brings a little bit more foot speed, and maybe he offers us a little bit more defensively. And then when you throw in like a Jalen or an Emmett, we don't lose out on the foot speed defensively. And I do think that McNeil is a good enough shooter that he can kind of come in off the bench somewhat cold. And once he starts hitting a couple of those outside shots, like there's times where he feel like he Jimmer Fredette steps across half court and fly,
no, yeah.
Up,
do
and
you
you're
guys?
like, oh my God.
Do you guys do this too? Sometimes I'll be like, oh man, he shot that one from like Canova, or like,
yeah, right.
If we're at the other end, I'll be like, man, he was pretty much like Charlestown when he's
like what are you
like
like? Whoa,
he's
what
like
are you
Harper's
doing?
Ferry.
Where, yeah,
throwing
right.
That up.
Where are you shooting that from?
He's very Jimmer Fredette like.
But if you get this WVU team's amazing. If you can get two guys, like, I mean, in this case, it was Miles and Taz. If you can get two guys that are hitting threes, that are hitting their shots. I mean, both of them were, 4 for 5 for Miles McBride beyond the arc, 4 for 7 for Taz. I mean, that changes the game when you're hitting that. I mean, we shot 52% from 3. It goes back.
And Emmett hit a clutch 3. I mean, I feel like everyone was contributing from a shooting perspective. And how many times have we had the luxury of having that conversation over the last couple seasons? It feels weird, doesn't it?
It's not a Huggins. It doesn't feel like a Huggins team this way. I mean, you're looking and you're like, the John Beeline come back? Like, when's Mike Gansky gonna come out and when's
does this make you guys want? For me, it makes me want Taz to come back for that extra year.
Yeah. Well,
because if you think about it, we really could lose no one from this team.
Yeah, or I mean, as you saw from, what was it, Johnson on Twitter this week, you might see Deuce go. He right now in some mock drafts for the NBA is in the second round.
Yeah. So in that, we spotted, someone had tweeted that out in one of the latest Bleacher Report mock drafts. Scoot, they had him in the second round, pick number 41. That's kind of crazy to think about.
Well, and I know that's good, because I don't know that he was on any kind of, preseason mock draft anywhere. However, pick 41, second round stuff. Really you want to be a lottery guy to kind of at least ensure that you're going to be in the league for a year.
Yeah,
and you look at you look at Joe Alexander, what was he, eighth pick in the draft, and he lasted a year and a half or something, or
even
that.
Somebody like like a Javon Carter, who we know his abilities, and he's had to pretty much fight and scrape and be
he's
the guy
still
that
in
wants
that
to
mode.
play defense when no one else wants to play.
Right.
He's to just stick with a team. So I know what you mean.
So I'm hoping that all of these guys can return. I mean, you think about it, that's decent. Now, I think Gabe's a senior. Is that right? I believe he's a senior. So
I believe so, yeah.
We would probably need to find somebody in that mold, kind of like a Cam Thurman, kind of a junkyard dog type defender.
Yeah.
Even if it's
But
less
when you
time than
think
we.
about Derek Culver as only a junior, isn't that kind of crazy? Like it feels
Yeah,
like he's been there 6 years now or something.
and he missed half of his freshman year
Right.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
he was
Yeah,
suspended.
that's true.
So
And I know it's a little early to kind of talk about it, but I mean I think there is that chance that you lose those two guys. You lose Derek Culver, you lose Deuce McBride to professional basketball after this season. And the real question is that, at that point, how that changes this team a lot with, those two guys potentially gone and then Gabe Osaboyan. A little premature
Well,
to talk about, but
don't you think though the next 5 games weigh into that conversation?
absolutely.
Like,
I mean, like
I
if
think we're on a high right now of this Kansas win. I think you're going to have little time to celebrate, right? Because you're just starting this gauntlet. So if we, I think I saw, shoot, I don't know if it was our boy Josh Witt. Someone had put up a poll. I'll dig it up and circle back around to that. But someone said they put up a poll. What do you think is reasonable out of this 6-game stretch? And it was like 1 to 2 wins, 3 to 4 wins, 5 to 6 wins. And I think the majority, and I think where I voted was, looking at the home away split, looking at who we're playing.
we get 2
I
wins.
I think 2 to 3 wins. I'd feel like we held court, like this was brutal and we held court. And that's where most people I think I saw voting. But what do you I wanted to bring it up here just to see what you guys think. Scoot, I think you're probably thinking 2 to 3 wins, right? I mean,
Yeah, if we win 2 out of those games, I mean, what
so
concerns me?
You're talking the next 5 games. You're talking Texas
Yes.
Tech,
well,
Oklahoma.
it was the 6-game stretch in total. It was before
include
the
Kansas.
Yeah, include Kansas.
Include Kansas. If you
so
include
one
Kansas.
more win, one to 2 more wins out of the next 5. I mean, that's pretty decent. Like we said, that's treading water. That's kind of holding your own.
Right now, they're in sole possession of second place in the conference. That's kind of why I ask too, because
what concerns
you don't want to suddenly find yourself after this stretch, 4th, 5th place in the conference.
What concerns me and what I'm not looking forward to is the social media when we do struggle,
right?
Because it's the wheels have fallen off. This team's not,
Sky
not
is falling.
as good as thought they were. They shouldn't be ranked as high as they are. We're going to start to see all of that stuff. And, we can't be losing home games to conference teams. Well, when those home games are against the number 1 or number 2 team in the country, and you've got the Oklahoma's number 9, I think. I mean,
well, and they're on a tear right now.
Right.
I mean, they're knocking down everyone right now. So I think, but can I add, and then Guido, I want you to weigh in too, but can I just add another layer to it? To me, like when I was voting in that poll, 3 wins is where my mind was. Like, I feel okay with that. 2 doesn't feel 2 and 4 in that 6-game stretch doesn't feel nearly as good to me as 3. Like if we can just split it, I'm good with that. That's super solid against this competition. 2 out of those 6, I don't feel as good about.
I feel Texas, and I think Oklahoma. I think we should be able to get those 2 games, but I may be wrong.
I mean, for me, it's hard. Looking at these numbers and these teams that we're playing, and the fact that you're playing in a 5-day stretch, you're playing Oklahoma at home, Baylor at home, Baylor on the road, and then Texas. I mean, that's a 1-week stretch. That's 7 days right there. 4 games against all ranked teams higher than you. I'll be happy if we come out with 1 win of those 4 games that week against a Baylor or against Oklahoma or against a Texas. I would like to see us take 2. Maybe it's the Texas Tech game on the road, but I worry about that because I think Texas Tech is going to be after us after the last matchup.
Well, and I'm looking at the 2 games at home, to be honest with you. I feel like if out of any of those, I mean, we know how difficult it is for us to win on the road. So I feel like if you could get, I'm kind of with Scoot. If you could get Oklahoma, we had that big comeback and almost got Oklahoma at their place. If you could get Oklahoma at home and then maybe split these 2 with Baylor, get the 1 at home. Those are 2 huge. Those are 2 top 10 wins.
Right.
That's crazy to talk about, but that's
big.
right there. Right there, you've beaten 2 top
What would
10.
what would your conversation be if we won all of them?
Oh man,
gosh.
I'd be ecstatic.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
you'd be.
are they a top 5 team?
I'd be floating every day
I think they got to be a top 5 team, right?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they've got to be maybe top 3, 4.
Yeah,
Like they got to
I
be like
totally
number
agree.
2, 3, 4, somewhere in there.
I totally agree.
I mean, well, you got to think. So the next episode we do, which is a week from now, we'll have played Texas Tech, Oklahoma, and probably that Baylor game. We might push a day. And
so Guido and I will either be okay
or like severely
we'll be
depressed,
in the fetal position.
I just
like
don't.
In a corner is what I would project.
And here's my thing: like, I don't think they can beat Oklahoma and Baylor back to back, and that's what you're asking, Johnson, because those are the 2 home games.
Yeah,
so
right.
I feel like if you can take Oklahoma, you'll lose that Monday night game against Baylor, and then maybe you come back and beat Baylor in Baylor at Waco. I mean, it's tough. This is the one of the toughest stretches I think for any NCAA team right now. I
think the only other game I would circle is maybe where Scoot was going with Texas, because if you think about it, we kind of felt like we let them off the hook. 2 or 4?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, it was. I think I'll go back and look, but I think it was like a 1 possession game. We let them off the hook. So I think we lost 72-70 that last game. So that's one. Even though you're on the road, I think maybe that's one that I would also circle. Like maybe we can get those guys back. So either way, I agree with both of you. I just brought it up because I think it's an interesting. If you pick a 6-game stretch and you said you'd be happy with 2 and 4, I think a lot of people would be like, wah, wah. But if you consider this 6 games,
that was the Andrew Jones buzzer beater, not buzzer beater, but like last second 3-pointer.
Right.
So, I mean, we should have won that game.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens, but a great game against Kansas, a nice win there. And don't forget, Tuesday night you got Texas Tech on ESPN, 9:00 game. So hope you guys drink your coffee. Mr. Solheim needs to be taking some Red Bulls before that game.
Yes. He will not see the second half.
I'll text Brent at halftime.
We can get great analysis on the first half.
Yeah, right.
With a little wake me up. Yes.
And then Oklahoma game is next Saturday at 1 p.m. in the Coliseum. 2,000 fans will be able to go to that game, and it'll be on ESPN Plus. So you got to get your nickels out, and feed your TV.
I'll be there. I'll be there. I'm
and
a Plus guy.
I think they're allowing 2,800 in Guido.
Is that what it is now? Wow.
So you're right. It's more, but I think it's like up to 2,800. So who knows? I like it because I think any fan noise starts to get that home atmosphere. So that's cool.
Other quick basketball news. That TCU game moved to the 23rd. Is that correct? Tuesday the 23rd.
Yeah, I think it was originally scheduled for the 22nd. So for whatever reason, they've moved that.
I got a feeling that was an ESPN thing. That game's on ESPN2 now on Tuesday the 23rd at 7 p.m. So at least it's a 7 p.m. game, but it's probably.
I've got word that Jamie Dixon actually had a haircut scheduled for the 22nd.
Okay.
So they've moved it back. He was waiting on a delivery of product for his hair.
You think every 2 weeks he gets it like slicked?
And here's
I don't know.
You know how you would get a cut every 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Do you think he goes in for a slick back? Maybe?
Yeah, shine.
Yeah. Here's my other question that I don't know has been answered yet, guys, or if you know. So we still have another TCU game and another Oklahoma State game that were supposed to be in Morgantown that was postponed during the COVID break. And they haven't said yet what the schedule is to make those back up yet. So I don't know if that's going to happen in that 10-day stretch between the end of the season and when the Big 12.
That would be my guess.
Yeah.
I would guess that before the conference tournament, I doubt that.
And I don't know.
Huggins would want to go a long stretch without games.
Right. And I don't know if they're waiting to see if those games would even have any implications in the conference or what. Maybe that's what they're doing. But we have yet to hear what the makeup dates for those games are. So let's talk a little football, guys. How about WVU football? Okay. We lost a coach. We've lost a couple of coaches, but Mr. Bill Legg leaves us and goes back to Marshall, which is what, his like second, third stint at Marshall? Like I feel like
he's alternated between Morgantown and Huntington quite a few times. So.
Yes. So he left and has gone to Marshall, but we have a couple of new coaches we picked up this week, Johnson, including Shadon Brown.
So he's coming to us from Louisville, and he's actually been quite a few other places. I think I had read where he had a stint at Colorado. He was at, I think before Louisville. So I think the tie-in here, from what I saw, just the chatter, I think I'm correct on this, is he went to Neil Brown's high school, Boyle County High School. So he's probably some connections there, I guess. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking I went to high school with a lot of people I don't talk to anymore, so maybe that's a stretch. I don't know, but
why would that have any bearing? There are a lot of people that I went to high school with. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to hire them for jobs.
It's right. Like, probably would preclude you from hiring them.
Right. I know too much.
But so I mean, I think he comes like people feel good about that hire. As much as we hated to see Jamil Adai move on, I think people feel good about that addition. So that's good.
So are you surprised that? So if you're Jordan Leslie, do you feel like? I mean, you're probably okay with it. Outwardly, publicly, you're going to be okay with it. But do you feel like, hey, man, what do I got to do to just be the defensive coordinator by myself? Well, what? So we're going to bring in a guy fresh off the street, kind of like from another program, and he's going to share the job with me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too, to be honest with you, Scoot, that they, he comes in, he's announced as co-defensive coordinator right off the top there. And, I mean, it's weird. You don't see it a lot where you have co-coordinators at all in general.
Well, and it would be one thing, like let's say it was like Luke Fickell or somebody that's got this Bud Foster, somebody with a defensive coordinator background or defensive prowess that's known outside of their local school. Like, okay, you want to bring Bud Foster in from Virginia Tech, who was a defense coordinator there for forever. And you don't feel good about just giving him a positions coach spot. You want to name him co-defensive coordinator. Okay. I'm maybe a little surprised that, and I'm kind of okay with, like, Jeff Castile still floating around at WVU, and we didn't elevate him to another position, so I don't know, just kind of interesting.
Yeah. So
I don't know. When I originally saw it, I guess I just felt like that was already the setup. So with him coming in, they just slot him in where, Adai's vacancy was. I wouldn't be surprised here moving forward if they're at liberty to reshuffle it again, I guess. But it could be also if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, that's how they lived life this past season with success.
So it'll be interesting. I mean, and again, they've been winning. Defenses looked good. Maybe this is just continuing on the same path that they're on. Well, guys, let's wrap up the segment with one more thing. West Virginia University women's basketball is on a tear. 10 straight wins. They're currently ranked in the top 25.
15-2, right?
Yeah, 15-2 overall, 9-2 in the conference on a 10-game win streak. Just looking.
Would you say that they are scary good?
They're scary good.
Yeah. Would you say that's
why? What's your grin? I don't get it. What am I missing?
What? Scary? They're scary good.
Oh, Scary Carrie?
Yeah.
Are you coining a nickname?
I'm saying they are S with a couple of hyphens or a couple of S's with a hyphen. Scary good. Scary good.
I like it. Okay, you know what? I like it. I'll allow it. I think it's cool. But 15-2, that's insane. I mean, good for them, man. 10 in a row, that's crazy. People are like walking into a buzzsaw with them right now.
Kondresnik, she's averaging 21 points a game, averaging 21 points a game. She had a game a couple weeks ago at 30 points.
Yeah, right.
They are just tearing through the Big 12 right now. So it's good to see them, competing, doing really well. So
listen, so Dan Zangrilli's tweet for WVU women's basketball. He noted that they're also beating people by an average of almost 13 points in this stretch. So it's not just winning. It's not like, oh yeah, they lucked out on that one. No, they're pounding folks. So good for them. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's great. Well, listen, guys, let's take a break and we'll come back and do the #1 game show on a West Virginia University sports podcast. It's a little game we like to call Bluff the Fluff. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to Got Your Ears On.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and...
All right, we're back. All right, we're back on Twitch. All right, so let's do this segment. You ready? All right, everybody, welcome back to Got Your Ears On. Don't forget, you can find us on social media. Look for us on Instagram and Twitter at Got Your Ears. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search Got Your Ears On. Guys, it's time for the #1 game show on a West Virginia University sports podcast, a little game we like to call Bluff the Fluffs. And Johnson won last week. Brett Solheim trivia. Brent Orr, as we like to play. So congratulations, Johnson. But you're still down. Scoot's still up 3-1 on you.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm only 2 games back. I'm okay. We're not sweating.
Not nervous, he says. All right, guys. This week, I thought, we've done a lot of sports lately. We've done a lot of topical things. I thought maybe we do some movie trivia. So I picked one of my favorite all-time basketball movies. A little movie that I like to call, that I think
Teen
everybody
Wolf.
calls. No, not Teen Wolf.
Please.
Hoosiers. I'm sorry, guys. It's
man.
trivia about the movie Hoosiers, starring Gene
Teen
Hackman.
Wolf
Gene Hackman
would have been amazing.
would have been amazing. I'll pocket that one. So as always, guys, remember, a correct answer is worth 5 points. A steal is worth 10 points. And Final Bluff will be worth 25 points. Before we did the, if you were watching on Twitch, you might have seen this. But before we came back, we did a random, completely, nobody can believe it, but it is. It's completely random, total flip of the coin. And Scooty, you came out first. You get to go first this week. Congrats.
Feels good.
Feels good. Feels good to go first?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. First question is to you, Scoot. 5 points. What is the name of the high school opposing Hickory in the game when Coach Dale was ejected for arguing with the officials and a Hickory player was ejected for punching the opposing player? You remember that scene where the player punches?
Yeah.
Right? So what was the name of the opposing high school? Was it Cedar Knob, Sandy Grove, Mannington, or Rochester?
Tough.
The look on Skeet's face is worth $1,000.
Movie buff,
He's
Scoot.
never been more aggravated and perplexed on one question ever. That's so funny.
So say the first two again.
Cedar Knob or Sandy Grove, and then the other two were Mannington High and Rochester.
Okay. Well, in Indiana, Mannington I don't think is it, because that's a old school in West Virginia. And what was the last one you said?
Rochester.
Rochester. No, I don't feel that's a city in New York and in Minnesota. So I'm going to go, I don't think they have a lot of sand in Indiana, so I'm going to go with Cedar Knob.
That's correct. Great way it took you a lot to get there.
Man, that was some just deductive reasoning there, Scoot. I'm proud of you.
That was pretty good.
I don't know if they have cedars or knobs either, but
Cedars have
Cedar
knobs.
knob.
I guess they do.
Cedar Knob. All right, so Scoot gets 5 points right there. Johnson, this next question is back to you.
I'm not excited right now for my potential question.
I feel like how many you guys, Hoosiers is a classic. All right.
Oh, yeah, it's just been a while.
I've watched it a billion times.
Yeah, me
I've not
too.
watched it recently.
Right.
All right. Which player's father drives the red bus that Hickory takes to road games? Which player's father? Was it Witt, Strap, Ollie, or Everett?
Oh my gosh, this is so difficult. I'm going to say Everett.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Scoot, for 10 points in the steal, was it Witt, Strap, or Ollie?
Well, everybody knows that Witt's dad has a CDL, so it's Witt.
That's correct. Everybody knows that. No, it was Strap. Strap's dad is the one who drives the bus to the road games. All right, so nobody gets a point on that question. And Scoot, we're back to you.
Ironically, buses don't have straps.
Okay. They
Maybe
don't.
that's
They don't have
why.
seatbelts
Yeah.
either. All right. All right, Scoot, this question's back to you. Miss Fleener who was watching after Jimmy when Coach Dale first arrives, right? The teacher who's watching after Jimmy when Coach Dale first comes to town, wanted Jimmy to take a year off from playing basketball to focus on getting an academic scholarship to this college so he could get out of this place. What was the name of the college? Was it Ithaca College, Deer Lick College, Indiana University, or Wabash College?
Ooh. Well, Deer Lick is ridiculous, so that's not it. Wabash is in Washington, so that's way too far. I'm going to say Ithaca in upstate New York.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Johnson, was it Deer Lick College, Indiana University, or Wabash College?
Well, Indiana seems too obvious, right? So that's what I'm going with.
That's incorrect. That's
Is it
wrong.
Wabash?
It's Wabash.
Oh, I was gonna say that, but then I outsmarted myself.
It is Wabash.
I will admit that some of my deductive reasoning is defense.
Yeah.
So I throw out some defense to try to like persuade Johnson.
Because there
so that
is
if
a
I'm
Wabash,
wrong,
Indiana, right? There's a Wabash,
I don't
Indiana.
know. There's also a Wabash, Washington, isn't there? Or did I
Yeah,
make
I
that
think
up?
you're right.
I don't
No,
know.
I think you're right. Deer Lick, I agree with you. That's one Guido must have just made up and thrown in there. But
All right. Well, Scoot still has the lead, 5-0.
dang it.
And this next question, Johnson, is back to you. In which Hickory game does Shooter show up late, drunk, and wander onto the floor to dispute a call with the referee? And then Hickory was charged for a technical foul. So what game was that? Was that the state championship game, the regional final game, the last game of the regular season, or the sectional final game?
I don't think it definitely wasn't the state championship, I don't think. I thought it was like the sectional game. I'm going to go with sectional.
That's correct. It was the sectional final game. Good job, Johnson. 5 points and get you back in this game. 5-5. That's like one of my favorite scenes, by the way, when
Yeah, it's kind of an iconic from that movie. Yeah.
it's great. All right, so we're tied up 5-5. Scoot, this question is back to you. Hoosiers was not the mascot name of Hickory High School. So what was their mascot? Was it the Hickory Bears, the Hickory Huskers, the Hickory Hilltoppers, or the Hickory Bulldogs?
That's a good question. I know that there's corn in Indiana, so I don't feel it's that. I feel like it was the Hilltoppers.
Sorry,
Oh my
that's
God.
incorrect. Johnson for 10 points in the
This is
steal.
misery.
Was it the Bears, the Huskers, or the Bulldogs?
I actually thought it was the Hilltoppers. I got to think about this now. So Huskers, Bears, Bulldogs. Bulldogs are close to my heart. I'm going with Bulldogs.
Sorry, that's incorrect. It was Huskers.
How bad are we that we get the choices narrowed down and we have yet to get it, where we have a 33% chance to get it right and we still can't get it right?
Well, and I always
Would you say it was the Huskers?
It was the Huskers, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I don't remember that at all.
The Hickory Huskers. The Hickory.
I do
That's
not-
like how come husking is what you take the outside of the corn off the corn?
Okay.
I
Like you
believe
don't
so.
see any like team mascots like the potato peelers. Like how come there aren't any peelers? Like hey,
Well, I
I'm
don't
on
know. I guess people aren't proud of that, right? I guess people are more proud of.
Husking corn.
taking
the act
the
of
leaves of
husking.
corn off of a corn. You're proud of that?
I mean, I'm just throwing that out there.
I'm just
saying,
I gotta
like,
be honest. I could be honest with you, Scoot. Like if I lived in Idaho, like if I went to Idaho State University, being the Peelers would be an awesome name. That would be an awesome
It
name
kind
for a
of
team.
would being being the peelers.
How about
is
the
kind
carrot
of
pullers? Would you be happy being a carrot puller?
I don't know. Probably
Exactly.
not.
It's ridiculous. Corn husking is not a feared thing. Like who gets nervous about playing a guy that pulls leaves off of corn? Nobody. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right. Last question before final bluffs. Johnson, this one goes to you. We're still tied up 5-5, guys. You guys are smoking it in this one here. All right. Hoosiers was inspired by the real-life 1954 Indiana state champs. This small-town high school defeated Muncie Central High in that game. What was the town that they were from? Was it Spurgeon, Indiana, Milan, Indiana, Buck Creek, Indiana, or Pine Village, Indiana?
Oh boy, Scoot. Pine Village. Pine Village sounds like
A retirement home?
yes. Or like a Christmas decoration place, like where you would go look at Christmas decorations or something. I went to Pine Village and I saw the lights, so they were very pretty. So that's out. Milan throws me a little bit because it's just reasonable enough to be a town name, but also something Guido popped into his mind before he was like writing these answers, so I'm not sure about that. And then you said
Spurgeon and Spurgeon and Buck Creek.
Spurgeon makes me uncomfortable. I don't like that word. So I'm gonna go with, what was it? Buck Creek?
Buck Creek, is that your answer?
I'm gonna go with Buck Creek.
It's not Buck Creek. Man, that was a lot of digging to get there on that one. Scooty, for 10 points in the steal, was it Spurgeon, Milan, or Pine Village?
Okay, so back to deductive reasoning. Pine Village sounds like a retirement home. Milan is too closely related to Milan Pushkar, and that's where Guido was making that up. Spurgeon, I don't think he can come up with that on his own, so I'm going Spurgeon.
Sorry, that's incorrect as well. First of all, let's go on the record before we give people the answer. Let's go on the record. These are all names of towns in Indiana. All of these are names of actual towns in Indiana.
Oh man, Pine Village just stopped all their downloads.
Yeah, they did. We are not. I bet you we got 0 downloads in Spurgeon this week. It was Milan, Indiana, Milan High School.
Oh my god.
So
that's so frustrating.
Yeah. So sorry guys, no points to you there. We go into final bluff, winner take all, because you guys are tied 5-5. And
Scoot, I felt we would just do better in this category.
Come on, guys. It's Hoosiers.
Like, I mean, this is a movie I like. In a movie I've seen.
Think about all the times we've had steals too and did not.
Yes, yeah. It's terrible.
Like how many like elementary school basketball coaches made you watch this movie?
Oh
like,
yeah, I mean I've seen it bazillion times.
Yeah. I mean I think 4th through 8th grade, every coach made me watch this movie.
I think I'd even have a better chance if you said, "Can you start humming the tune that plays throughout their road trips and stuff?"
Right.
I could do that. Yeah.
You're gonna go back and watch this game later, or watch this movie later, and want to be like, why didn't I know these things? All right, final bluff, guys. 25 points. As always, you have to buzz in for your chance to get the answers. And Johnson, what's your buzzer this week?
Dusky.
All right. And Scooty, what do you got for a buzzer?
Chitwood.
Chitwood. Going to Chitwood. All right. Here we go. Final bluff, guys. Get your buzzers ready. When Hickory played in the state championship game, they played in what is now called Hinkle Fieldhouse. But in the movie and in real life in 1954, what was the name of the basketball arena? Was it the Indiana State Auditorium, Butler Fieldhouse, Indianapolis Fieldhouse, or the Selleck Bowl?
Chitwood.
Dusky.
Ooh, that's tough. I'm sorry, Johnson, but I heard Scoot first.
What? Come on.
I am going to say the Indiana State Auditorium.
That's incorrect. Johnson, for 25 points in the win, what's your answer?
I thought it was Butler Fieldhouse.
That's correct. Butler Fieldhouse, 25 points. Johnson wins 30-5 over Scooty. Congratulations. That is, Hinkle Fieldhouse is the home of the Butler Bulldogs, and it used to be called Butler Fieldhouse from 1928 to 1966, but then was renamed after a famous Butler coach, who obviously had the last name Hinkle.
Not very famous to us then,
Tony Hinkle.
because we don't know who this guy is.
He's probably a Cornhusker. Scoot.
Listen, when you have to tell somebody, you have to start it with a very famous person. That means that probably nobody else knows. Who
Historic coach, Mr. Hinkle.
He's listen, Tony Hinkle, Paul D. Tony Hinkle.
Oh, Tony.
Oh, Tony.
Yeah, I know of him well.
He's in the Basketball Hall of Fame. He was head coach at Butler for years, 50 years. He was head coach and athletic director at Butler.
Lifetime Bulldog. Gotcha.
Lifetime Bulldog. All right, there you go. Well, congratulations, Johnson. You're closing the gap on Scoot. Scoot, you only lead 3-2 now. Johnson's on a 2-week tear. You getting a little nervous, buddy?
I feel like I benefited more from just how bad both of us were at this topic, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not nervous. I mean, come on.
Scoot lit up so happy when you said movie trivia, and then it just went all sad.
Well, you clearly picked the wrong basketball movie. I mean, had you gone Teen Wolf,
we would have been.
Oh man,
it would have been like a tennis match. 5-5-5-5.
Yeah.
Maybe next February I'll do Teen Wolf for you. How's that?
So long to wait.
All right. Well, listen, guys, let's take a break, and we'll be back with a segment where we let Scooty take the brakes off of his internet. It's a little segment we like to call I Can't Believe My Ears. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to Got Your Ears On.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and...
What's the Benny Hill? The Benny Hill's like this.
right back on Twitch. Right live back on Twitch. Johnson's going. All right. Here we go. All right, Scott, you ready? This is your segment.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Here we go. All right, everybody, welcome back to Got Your Ears On, Guido along with Scoot and Johnson. And don't forget, you can go right now on our merch section on our website at gotyourearson.com, buy a Pullover Guy t-shirt, and every t-shirt or sweatshirt that we sell with the Pullover Guy logo on it, $5 gets donated to the Bob Huggins Fish Fry. So definitely go on, get that shirt. Go to our website, gotyourearson.com, Johnson. They can find that and a whole lot more.
Right. So we added some links to the merch store right there in the sidebar where you see our tweets. And just to tack on to what Guido is saying, we're so excited that we're going to be able to make a really significant donation. And so if you've already participated, good on you. We feel really good about what we're going to be able to do. So if you haven't checked it out yet, please do. The link again is right there in the sidebar. You can also find the latest blog posts that will have all the links to the stuff we talked about in the show. Probably some stuff that we didn't even get to link there as well. And then you can listen to the show right in the tune in link that's on the website. So check it out.
Yeah, check it out. GotYourEarsOn.com. Well, listen, guys, every week we let Scooty pull off the cap on his freshest, finest internet findings and share them with you. It's a little segment we like to call, I Can't Believe My Ears. What do you got for us this week, Scooty?
Well, a little update on a previous Can't Believe My Ears.
I like
just
it.
to touch base. Back in August, we talked about a strange animal that got loose in Connecticut.
Oh yeah,
Buddy the beefalo.
Yeah, the beefalo. Yeah,
right. We're talking about Buddy the beefalo. Well,
right.
Friday, so 2 days ago, Buddy the beefalo had resurfaced.
Really?
Okay.
Still loose.
Still loose. The Plymouth Police Department has a recent photo of Buddy the beefalo standing in some snow.
All right.
And that he had been spotted outside the area or in the area and appears to be doing well even during the winter storms. So he's eating. I don't know how he's eating or what he's eating, but I guess originally the idea was they were going to catch Buddy the beefalo.
Yeah, like re-corral him, right?
Yeah, and then send him to a farm or something in Florida, which I don't even know if you have beefalo farms down there, but they're going to send him to a critter sanctuary in Florida. They have yet to catch him, but I guess there's some people, and I think Buddy maybe is a little concerned that he thinks this is kind of like a rope-a-dope, right? He walks over to them, and he's not going to this critter farm. He's going back to the slaughterhouse. So Buddy has been on the lam.
Buddy's like, Mama didn't raise no knucklehead. I'm not coming over there.
He's been on the lam. Which
is, I wonder, it makes me think of like The Fugitive. Like, is Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones, every
outhouse,
barn house, hen house. So Buddy is still loose. Now,
okay.
Moving on to my actual Can't Believe My Ears.
Okay.
This is maybe near and dear to both of your hearts. You guys are cat lovers, correct?
I wouldn't say that.
Guy.
No.
Yeah, I would. I love my cat.
Okay, so Johnson is the cat lover. I know that.
Well, what are you then? A cat like put upper with her?
Yeah, me. I'm absolutely a hey. The wife wants a cat. I have to have a cat person.
My cat is the best dog I've never had. I'll be honest with you. Our Maine Coon cat, he's like 30 pounds. He meets me at the door. He's a buddy.
It's ridiculous. Cats. I don't know. I'm not a cat guy. However.
Well, maybe he doesn't like you either. Scoot, you ever think about that?
Listen,
maybe cats aren't Scoot people.
I don't want something that's going to come over to me awkwardly and rub its body on my ankle. Like, that's weird to me. Like,
what, do you want your dog to come over and pee on your leg and be like, "Hey, Dad, how's it going?"
But like, my dog's not coming over to me, not saying a word, and then just like scratching his ribs on my ankle, which is weird.
Are we here to argue the pros and cons of cats and dogs? I feel like.
Well, anyway, moving on.
Okay, thank you.
In Kentucky, I guess near the Lexington Humane Society that has a bit of a fundraiser going on.
All right.
And with this being close to Valentine's Day, maybe you guys would like to get into this, make a donation. And what happens is you can donate $10.
Okay.
Get some retribution on.
I feel like you didn't say that word right.
Well, it's hard to say because I think it's a made up word. But what they're doing is they're taking litter boxes and putting your ex-girlfriend's or ex-boyfriend's names on the litter box.
No, this is kind of hilarious.
And then your cat or the adoptable cats will take a dump on your ex's name.
Is this like streaming live on the internet? Like you can watch it happen live on the internet?
I don't know.
Well, let me just hold on a second. Let me think about this, because litter boxes are kind of the bane of my existence, right? I mean, I can't. So I said I love my cat. I hate that part. Like, let's real talk. That's just awful. So what I'm trying to think, like, would it make me feel any better if I was out there tending to the litter box and then I was like, ha, they pooped on, Steve's
Barbara.
name, or like whoever your ex is or whatever. Like, I don't know if that would make me any that process still is terrible, so I don't know if that really.
The promotion is called Dumps for the Dumped.
That is clever. I like that. That's clever.
That's good.
They've got it ends February 12th, but the litter boxes will remain in place until February 15th to ensure that they've gotten plenty of use on Valentine's Day.
Okay.
They have a quote here in this article. Our adoptable kitties have your back and will dump all over your ex, the shelter said in a Facebook post. Cats can be spiteful creatures, and trust us, they are more happy to take a number 2 on your former number 1.
So I have to be honest with you guys. I mean, been through a couple of relationships. I mean, now happily married for 15 plus years, and you guys are as well married for longer than me, both of you. I don't think any of my previous relationships I've ever been so mad that I would spend money to have a litter box labeled with their name.
It seems very immediate, right? It feels like
It's
got to be a fresh one, right? It's like someone dumped you on Tuesday, and like on Wednesday you're scrolling and you see this ad and you're like, yeah, like it feels like it has to be.
It's very catty. You have to be very catty.
Yes, I see what you did
like,
there.
I can't go back to 1999
right
and say, you know what?
Right.
She did me wrong. I've not gotten over it. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show her.
Your wife is cleaning the litter box and there's this name or photo or something in the bottom of the litter box, and she's like, this is odd. Like, what's
weird.
that all about? And you're like,
it's very possible. My last relationship, and where I had a breakup, they could have been married multiple times at this point. Like, I don't even like, it would be so far removed for me or you or any of us. I mean, Johnson, you've been married, what, 20 plus years?
Yes.
I am on 20 plus years as well. Guido,
15.
You're what?
Yeah, 15 years.
I mean, so like it's a little too far removed, like you said.
But I'm also thinking about like where you go. So the place where they're handing these out, is it like a parade of just broken, mad, crying, potentially people angry?
Are people happy when they call, or are they upset? Like, do you have to like provide?
They're like, give me that litter box, I'm going home.
Like, do you have like?
Is there free litter in here? Like, I'd kind of almost hate to be at the place where you're handing those out.
I think you need to have like a counselor on hand to possibly take some of these phone calls to give some like therapy.
And I mean, wouldn't there be how much did you say the donation was, Scoot, or did they say
$10?
I mean, I don't know. $10? Is it worth it? $10? I mean, come on.
Guido's like, that's a little rich for my blood.
Rich for my blood.
For the cat poop activity. I don't know if I'm on
Isn't there a better way you could spend $10 to get back at your ex?
I mean, I would think yes.
How much is an ad in the
let me ask you this.
Yeah,
so let's say you guys are the exes.
How expensive is it to fly one of those planes with the signs above? I mean,
if like my name showed up on one of these boxes, is that what you're saying? Like, if it said like Guido along the side of it,
would you be offended?
I just had a thought. Guido.
Okay, what's your thought?
Scoot's asking this question because if someone posted a Twitter photo or Instagram of they scooped their box and Scoot's name was in the bottom, I feel like he'd be like, yeah, broke her heart. Like, yeah.
That's
Scoot would be
right.
like,
Is
yeah,
that a-
I did
He'd
that.
be like, yeah, that was me.
Is
I
that
broke
like
her heart.
like a feather in your hat? If you're the guy that, man, I got to her so bad that
Yeah.
she went and had a cat poop on my name. You still can't stop thinking about me.
She
Got
living
cats
rent,
pooping on me.
living rent free in her litter box.
I mean,
Yeah, right. I'm with you. Like,
hey, she got to take that litter box home and she got my name all over it. Hey,
yeah.
can't get enough of me.
Scoot's like,
Cute, hey.
Scoot's like, yeah, I'm
Hey.
proud of it. I'd take 15 litter boxes with my name on it.
How about, yeah, what if you're the guy that like they call in and it's like the same guy and maybe it's a random name and it's the same guy and it's like 5 different women
Right.
calling that,
He gets like an honorary donation award or something. It's like a fundraiser
I want my
sponsor.
cat to take a crap on Aloysius. Okay. And Aloysius, and then some other lady calls. I want my cat to take a crap on Aloysius. And you're like, what in the world? There can't be 2 Aloysiuses. Like, what?
Like, this guy has gotten around
This
pre-found.
Aloysius guy, man, he does the ladies wrong. He does the ladies wrong.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh man. All right, Scoot. Well, thanks for finding the most random things out on the internet for us to talk about. We really appreciate it.
hey, anytime. I'm full of that stuff.
All right. Well, listen, guys. West Virginia plays this week in a couple of games, so you better get ready for that because
Yes.
it's going to be
It's
a couple.
It's coming.
It's
Yes.
coming, and Johnson. I mean, should anybody do something? Maybe do some, cardio or something to get your heart ready for the next, 5-6 games.
Yeah, I mean, you might want to knock out a few sets of push-ups. Maybe take a walk around your neighborhood. I
Make
don't
sure-
know.
make sure your blood pressure
don't go
medicines-
into this. Yeah, don't go into this just like prep. Okay, prep Mountaineer Nation because we're all in this together. It's
Yeah.
gonna be tough.
In Brent's case, he needs to I don't know, maybe change his sleep schedule.
Yeah, he might.
Perhaps
2 of those
Like,
games are at 9:00 at night, so he might need
he
to
may need to
Get into a Red Bull at like
Take a-
8 p.m.
take a
not
nap.
put on the robe and everything at Jeopardy time. Like
Yeah.
he may need to make it past Jeopardy.
When he comes back on the show, he's gonna just
He-
roast you. You realize?
Put Scoot's thinking, Brent, if you're listening, maybe get a couple of Red Bulls in the fanny pack before you go off to work in the morning.
Brent is probably conditioned as soon as he hears Pat Sajak's voice, he's already starting to think, okay, I need to start to turn down the bed.
The yawns start.
The
yeah,
yawns start.
things start to crank up. He's got his nightcap on.
I like how
He's
Scoot
gonna kill you.
Scoot gets way more brave about making fun of Mr. Solheim when he's not on the
Yeah.
show.
How convenient.
How convenient.
Don't you dare tell him.
I think he might listen, Scoot. I think you might be in a little trouble. All right, West
I'm gonna
Virginia.
text him anyway.
West Virginia plays Tuesday at 9 p.m. against Texas Tech in Lubbock on the road, and then comes back home on Saturday against Oklahoma 1 p.m. So get ready for the gauntlet, boys. All right, guys, thanks for listening this week. Don't forget, you can find us online, Instagram, Twitter, at Got Your Ears On. Also, check out our Facebook page, Got Your Ears On, is on there, and look for our website where you can get a Pullover Guy t-shirt. $5 donation to the Bob Huggins Fish Fry. If you go to our website, gotyourearson.com, go to the merch section and order yourself a Pullover Guy t-shirt. Thanks, everybody, for listening. We'll be back next week. You've been listening to Got Your Ears On.